Hello, welcome to Unbound Wisdom. A big piece of the work that I do with my clients every day is helping them to connect to their own divine guidance, whether that's their spirit guides, whether it's their ancestors, their star family, their higher self, or just fractals of their self. It's a huge piece of my work. And so today I have a very, very special guest. I wanted to have her on because she has an amazing connection with her own angels, as well as other beings that I'll let her tell you about. But she uses the guidance that she gets in her everyday life, her day-to-day life, with all of her decision making, from little decisions all the way to big decisions. And she also uses their guidance in the healing sessions that she facilitates with people. Her name is Heather J. And I met her in a school that we were both enrolled in. It's called the School of Multidimensional Intuition, ran by Matthew and Honora Mornian. I know I've spoken of them before. This class was incredible because it was filled with developing psychics, healers, intuitives, mystics, shaman, witches, really a smorgasbord of multidimensional beings that were all gathered in the class, all working on developing whatever path they were taking on next. And Heather facilitated a session on me at one point in our course, and I also did a session on her, which we reference in this interview. So her healing modality is unlike anything that I've ever witnessed. It is absolutely incredible. And I'll let her explain a little bit more to you. But she uses dolphin energy, whale energy, as well as guidance from her angels and the guides from the client that she's working on. So I thought that she would be an incredible person to interview today so that you all can understand a different perspective on how she connects to her divine guidance. Because I recognize that all of us are very different in the way that we connect intuitively. Some people can see images in their minds like they're watching a movie. Some people can hear the voices like they're actually hearing voices in their head. That would be me. Some people, like Heather, will explain to you her modality is a lot different than many other people's. So I thought it would be a really incredible look for you to see the many different ways that spirit communicates with us. So without further ado, welcome, Heather. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. This will be an exciting talk, I think. I want to most definitely cover the ways in which you can speak to your guides, the ways in which they speak to you. Because I recognize that it is very different for every person, the method of communication. And even the method of communication throughout phases of our life can change. So that's a topic that I kind of wanted to start out with you today. So let's actually start with, where did you first realize that things were not as we were taught maybe growing up? Or maybe you've always kind of been awakened to the magic of the world.
I would say that I've had waves of, am I freezing or can you hear me?
No, you're good.
Okay. I think that those moments have come in and out for me. So I experienced them when I was very young, and I had adults around me that didn't quite understand. Even though my mom was psychic, actually, she was super psychic, and I probably get it from her. But she never really tapped into her abilities, so she didn't quite understand them. And so as the adults were telling me that it wasn't quite right that to follow that path, I stuffed all those feelings and all those gifts inside of me because people didn't understand them. And so they resurfaced again when I was like 20 years old. I didn't quite pay attention again. And then just recently in 2017, when I was diagnosed with breast cancer and I completely detoxed my body and started meditating again, and all of the powers and the gifts just came rushing back. So, yeah. And now I'm listening.
And then you see more, right? You end up having
Oh,
more gifts.
so once you start following those messages and taking heed to them, more messages come, and it's goes from a trickle to a downpour.
Which is wonderful.
Awesome.
So when you were little, let's go back to that. What were the first things that you were noticing? What kind of gifts did you notice when you were little?
Um, I could feel energies all around me in a way that everybody could not. And I remember being in my room one day, actually in the attic, and I was just playing in there, and I literally felt all of these beings all around me. And it was cool for a second, and then it scared me. And so I started like yelling for my parents, and they're like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, I couldn't move. I literally was paralyzed and I could not move. And I'm like, "You have to come here and get me now. I can't move." And they're like, "You're crazy." But things like that. And then just being very sensitive to feelings, like intuitive empathic things going on.
Mhm. Did you have any guides or angels when you were little? Did you?
I probably did, but I didn't connect with them like I am now. And so I think I just kind of pushed them away at that moment, because they have to be asked to help you and come and support you.
Mhm, mhm. And that wasn't until 2017 then for you when you detoxed and you was that a big part of it, detoxing, do you think?
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? When I got all those toxins out of my body, holy, I was like a complete conduit to the universe. Everything started coming through. Everything. All these light codes started coming in. And meditation is huge too, in whichever way. Just stopping thought is super helpful.
Mhm. What'd you do to detox?
What did I not do to detox is the question.
Yeah.
I was doing so many things. I completely changed my diet, like at the drop of a pin. Literally started cutting. I'm Italian, so I eat a lot of pasta and bread like every day. And so I cut out all of that stuff. I mean, I completely cut it out at the beginning, and now I just minimize it. But I cut out all of the carbs. I cut out all of the sugar. I was the biggest sugar head ever. And so I just started eating foods that come directly from nature. So raw veggies, lots of soups, salads, and that helped a lot. And then I did like coffee enemas and just different things like that. Stuff. I started actually taking spirulina and chlorella, which also really helped to get the toxins out of my body. I take colloidal silver still to this day, and lots of stuff. Drink a lot of water.
And so then after you had done that, then you started to notice your abilities come flooding back. And
Exactly.
what was the very first thing that you noticed as far as guidance in the form of angels or?
Um, there are two particular moments that stand out to me. And the first one, I'm still kind of sorting through it in my head because I don't know that I know exactly how to explain it. But I was on the street of San Francisco one day and I looked up, and there was just, it was almost like a breath from source that just came down, and it carried light codes. And I felt them being introduced into the collective conscious. I don't, I have to go through that a little deeper to completely understand what was going on there, but I think that that on the surface explains it. But then I was at home one day crying, like I often did in 2017, just praying, asking the universe for help with my health. And my grandma came and started shaking the photograph that was on the bookshelf. And I immediately looked over, and I mean, it is shaking hard. It is like, and I'm like, oh, what's going on? And what I immediately got was, my grandma is there with me. I am not alone. I am never alone. Not just her, but all my ancestors are there and they are helping me, and I can ask them at any point whatever I need, and they will help me. And that's really when the journey began, when I really started connecting with other dimensional beings.
So it sounds like there was an element of surrender too in that kind of, right?
Big time.
Yeah.
I used to be a super control freak, trying to control everything, and that was a really hard thing for me to learn, is to let go and surrender. And I've gotten quite good at it now, but it took me a minute.
You really live in the flow so well right now.
Thanks. Thank you.
Where I'm sitting. Seems like
So
that.
do you. Look who's talking.
But it's hard, isn't it? It really is. I don't know if it's society for sure. And just the way that we're taught that we always have to strive and work hard and try and be organized and have a set schedule. And while all these things are really good to be productive, there is that's only half of the piece. That's only half of the puzzle. The other half is surrendering, staying in the flow, being inspired, following your intuition, having faith, right? Trust.
Huge. Huge. You have to have faith. You have to believe. Otherwise, I like to say miracles only happen to those who believe in them. And this is absolutely true. You have to believe.
Yeah, that's so big. Okay, so once you were in contact with your grandma and your ancestors, then take me through, because right now the angels help you a lot in the healing work that you do for people. And you also have a connection, a very, I would say, intimate connection with dolphins and whales. And they help you in the healing work that you do with clients as well. So could you explain how that kind of entered into the picture and into your healing work?
So the dolphins and whales kind of came to me within the past year. It was actually when I was doing the course with Matthew and started using my voice as a modality for healing. And I think that's the moment when the dolphins and whales came in, and they were all around me. And as I read more and more about the dolphins and whales, there's a connection to Atlantis, which I'm also connected to Atlantis, and a connection to healing, because they are one of the most powerful animals known for healing. So I think that the universe probably brought them to me also because I had been praying so much about healing, my own healing, and then also healing others. And so I think that they were brought to me in that moment to help me with my own healing and also with healing of others.
Right.
Because it's actually the same thing. Healing yourself, healing the world, same thing.
Yeah, really good point. When they're helping you, how do you experience them? Do you see them with your eyes? Do you see them in your third eye? Do you hear tones in your
I can just feel them around me. It's more and a feeling, and I will start seeing them all over. Like, I'll go to YouTube and immediately dolphins will pop up, or just anywhere, like advertisements of dolphins all around me.
on a bumper sticker or
Exactly. Everywhere.
That's a good point. A lot of people might not realize, but that is a sign of guidance when it's you see the same things over and over and over, you know?
Yeah, so I walked out the door today and there was a praying mantis right there in my face.
No. What does that mean?
Um, so, the thing about when you're really connected to the universe is that everything means something. And so it's not an accident that I walked out the door and saw a praying mantis in front of my face. And I looked it up. They're pretty rare, so they don't come around often. They know how to camouflage themselves. And so when you do see them, it's because they want you to see them. What I also read is they are sending messages from other dimensions. Let's see. Trust your inner guidance. Be patient to wait for the flow of the universe to sort everything out. Mantis actually means prophet or seer. They hold supernatural powers. They are used as conduits for spiritual messages to be sent to humans who are at a vibration to receive energetic communications with them. They represent clear knowing of psychic energies that shape your reality. They tell you to look inward and trust your own intuition, and the universe will help light the way. They show up at pivotal points when there's a huge change coming, and actually females carry the divine feminine energy of intuition and the energy of the underworld. I'm not quite sure it was feminine, but female, but I've been reading the Sophia Code. Have you read it?
No, but I need to. That comes up all the time. I need to. Well, clearly, since it's come up again.
The really weird part about that book is that I saw her speak, the author, I saw her speak in like 2018 at the Conscious Life Expo, and I did not resonate at all with what she was saying. So I didn't buy the book at that time, but then like just a year ago, like it came up 3 other times, and I'm like, okay, I need to buy this book. And I just started reading it, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I
Right.
waited this long to read this book.
Don't you think sometimes,
There's really
well,
good
first
stuff
of
in there.
all, it's like timing, right? Divine timing, partly. But then also like we're just at a different place in our consciousness
Always.
where we can understand it at, a little bit down the road. I find that for myself. Like I may not understand what someone's talking about at one point, but then a couple years later I'll understand it a lot
Right.
because hopefully I've evolved.
Or maybe you just don't need it. I don't know. I mean, like some people need certain things and other people for their evolution and other people don't. So
Interesting. So I definitely want to cover the angels today though,
yes.
because I have an affinity for angels. I work with them all the time when I'm doing energy work on clients, and I actually ask for their help all the time with regression sessions as well, and in my own life, constantly.
So
So
you know.
yeah, I'm just curious about how you experience angelic energy and how the angels help you in your daily life as well.
I wake up saying hello to them and I love you. I go to bed saying I love you in the middle of the day. I remind them how grateful I am of them being here. So I am constantly talking to them. And I think that alone is what brings them close to me. I'm constantly asking them for help and guidance, and I don't even particularly know if it's always angels that are near me, but I call them angels. I mean, they could be other dimensional beings, they could be my galactic star families, but I group many things into the angel category. So,
Do you feel like a sensation when they're around? Do you hear anything? Do you see
they're
anything?
always around.
Oh
They're always they're always around. They are.
my
I'm
God,
not kidding.
so cute.
They're I wake up in the mornings and I usually go into my backyard and I ground myself to Mother Earth. And almost every day I find, I'll show you one, I find leaves. And
It looks like a feather. Is that a
sorry, feathers.
Oh,
And
I was
so
like,
they're different every single day. So every single day I'll find like a small one like this. Do you see that? Can you
yep,
see that?
yep.
Or big ones like this. I mean, look at this guy.
It's beautiful.
So cool.
It's beautiful.
And this is my angels speaking to me. Literally, this is my angels.
Yes,
Every single day.
1,000,000%. I have to look. Let me see if I can. I never throw mine away.
Yeah, me neither.
They're all over the house.
Oh, cool. Oh my God, that's so funny.
Yeah,
We do the same thing.
totally. That's funny.
That is so cool.
But yeah, absolutely. Just having the awareness, right? When you awareness of every moment, which means being present.
So important.
Being in
Everything.
your
It's
body,
everything.
trying not to be in the mental loop all the time, trying not to be emotionally triggered.
Keeping everything steady and balanced.
Yeah, which is definitely easier to say than do, but it is possible, isn't it?
The surrender part helps a lot and just letting go.
Yeah, absolutely. Can we talk about your galactic family?
Sure.
Okay. Just a real fast backstory. We did a session together. We traded sessions, and I did a energetic healing with Heather, and it was absolutely phenomenal because she really helped me work through some blocks that I was having with visibility and putting myself out there and really stepping into my purpose that I know I'm here for and being seen, which was really difficult. But truly, your session blew the lid off of it for me.
Yay.
It really helped me step into what I know that I'm meant to do, and it feels amazing. So, thank you. That's a side note. But the session that I did for you was a past life regression, and I don't know if you're comfortable talking about it, but maybe just a little bit about what you experienced with meeting your galactic family, or however much you feel like sharing.
Yeah, so that was actually the first time I've ever really truly encountered my galactic star family. I always talk to them and I always bring them into my prayers and my interactions, but I have never visualized them until that moment. So the past life regression took me to the planet of Venus. And I met a shaman in a little hut, and it turned out that shaman was myself, and I was doing sound healing on myself. And my dolphins came in, as well as the galactic star family, and I have never ever felt so much unconditional love from from beings before than that moment. And that's how I knew it was my galactic star family. And they did not look human. I feel like the what they exactly look like is a little bit blurry to me, but they definitely did not look human. And they were much taller than humans are, and they were super skinny. And they gave me so much love, and they told me that everything's going to be okay, and they did a little bit of a healing on me, and then they left. And it was the most beautiful, one of the most beautiful encounters I've had in a past life regression, actually.
That's amazing.
So
That
cool.
was pretty amazing. Just to be able to experience that feeling of unconditional love, right? Powerful.
So powerful. And just completely directing it towards me and telling me everything was going to be okay without speaking a word.
Yeah. Did they indicate that you can use some of the same abilities in your current in this body?
Absolutely. So when the dolphins came in at that moment, they were using this. They were going around in a circle really fast, creating a vortex that was sucking out all of the impurities and imperfections and things that weren't serving me. And I can also use that in my healings as well. The dolphins will help me utilize that modality. So there's a lot that I still have to unpack actually from that moment. But yeah, I mean, that shaman was me, and I was using a bunch of different sound healing modalities to heal myself.
Yeah, wild.
So
That's
wild.
amazing.
So wild.
So have you had
I
a
got I
sorry?
got downloads for days after that.
Oh, really? About abilities and direction for your life now?
Hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you been able to use the skills yet? Any of those techniques that you learned, or have you had a chance to?
Um, mm, I mean, I haven't quite wrapped them into my practices yet, but I will. I
Yeah,
definitely will.
yeah. That could take a little bit of integration, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. I'm constantly coming up with new modalities, so yeah.
Could you explain
So fun.
for us, for anyone that hasn't had a session by you, what does your work entail? So unique.
So I start with a little qigong in my sessions just to kind of open up the three Dantian centers, and then I weave in a little meditation to relax people, and I connect with their higher self, always in highest and best of everybody with harm to none. And then I say some prayers. I set my intentions, which actually is very important. The prayers and intentions are almost more important than everything else, because that's what supercharges the sound that I use that comes from my mouth. And it's, well, I actually got the idea from Matthew, and he calls it scalar toning. It's from scalar waves, which are from quantum physics. And then the scalar toning, just the energy of it with the prayers and intentions know exactly where to go in someone's body, in any of their bodies, mental body, energetic body, physical body, to promote healing.
Mhm, mhm. We didn't warn everybody, did we, Heather? I should have warned everyone up front. Every time Heather and I get on Zoom, it is the glitchiest thing ever. It's crazy. It only happens with Heather and then another girl from our group. And my only thought is that the frequency is high. And I just mean that in a realistic way. There's something between us trying to communicate with each other that Zoom does not like, or the internet doesn't like. I don't know.
It happens often, actually. It's kind of annoying at times. So I'm like, can I just communicate without interruptions? But it's okay. We just weave around it.
Everyone understands, I'm sure. I heard you were talking about the scalar toning and the tones go mentally, physically, emotionally, and they're basically able to heal your mental, physical, and emotional bodies, correct?
So through clearing blockages. So basically what the sound does is it can clear any blockages that are causing pain or just causing stagnation or doing whatever. And the sound knows exactly where to go. I don't even have to direct it. I just intend and I set my prayers, and then the magic happens.
Yeah, amazing, amazing.
I mean, it also raises your vibration. So I usually start my morning off with a humming meditation. And what I found with humming is that it gets you out of your head and into your body. And for me, it makes the meditations much more powerful. And so then from there, I tried toning for longer periods of time, and the benefits that occur both to my body and to all of my bodies was pretty profound. So that's where, I actually test things out on my body first, and then if it's a good outcome that I have, then I try it on other people, and yeah.
Would you be comfortable with sharing? You had mentioned your breast cancer diagnosis several years ago. Would you be comfortable like sharing where you're at with that, especially with all the healing work you're doing?
Yeah, so I 2017 diagnosed with breast cancer. I had the tumor taken out with surgery, and then it came back a year later, and then I had another surgery, and then it came back another year later, and I had another surgery, and I refused chemo and radiation, so I didn't do any of that stuff. I just thought that poisoning my body wasn't the route to go. I didn't even want to do surgery really, but I felt like everyone around me was pressuring me to do something. So, and then the last surgery I had, just before I did the surgery, there was a scan that showed something on my sternum bone. And then subsequently after that, there were a few tumors that came back. And so, about a year ago, I started having a lot of pain in that area. And I actually learned how to work with the pain in terms of sending the pain, actually just focusing your consciousness on the pain and also sending the pain love and light. And I found that by doing that, I would reduce the pain a lot, like a lot. And so
That is
today I don't really have a lot of pain. It's crazy. I don't even know. I can't even tell you how much pain I had in that area. There was so much pain. And I also felt my angels, because I've been asking my angels for a very long time to help me with my health. So in the nighttime when I would go to bed, I would actually feel them shifting and moving energies in my body as well. So, and today, the tumors have shrunk that I have that I can see significantly. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know, but
that is amazing.
I feel great.
Wonderful. It really is. Do you think part of it also,
Miracles, I tell you.
right? Real miracles. Do you think anything has to do with following your soul purpose, your life path, your soul calling, however we want to term it? Because I know that you had a pretty, I don't know, regulated 3D job before, right?
It was pretty stressful, super stressful.
Mm-hmm.
Constantly on 24/7. And so actually taking a lot of that stress out of my life really helped as well. And then just immersing myself in nature and in just relaxation and radical self-care, as our group likes to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All awesome. Well, for our last question today, if you could give people advice on one thing that they can do to have a connection with their guides or their higher self or their angels or their dolphins, what would you recommend? Hard.
I think maybe two things, and one is actually just what you said, which is making the intention to connect with all the beings that are around us at all times. they are always there. They just cannot help us without being asked for the help. So, literally, if you just spend a moment, once a day, twice a day, whatever you can do, asking them for their help and their guidance, they will start showing you through symbols next steps. And then I think the other way is just actually shutting distractions down enough so that you can actually hear the messages and see the messages and feel the messages. Because with too many distractions, they just go right by and we miss them. We don't see them.
Kind of live in our little, with our blinders on in a programmed way.
Yes, moving towards the future or the past.
Right.
And when we move towards the future or the past, we can't create, because creation only can occur in the present moment. So all the magic, all the creation lies in the present moment.
And all the messages too, huh?
Exactly. So first ask and then listen.
So simple.
So simple. Consistency is also important, though. Consistency every day. So, just reaching out on a daily basis. Consistency.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you mind sharing with people where they can find you? Where they can find your
They can
work?
find, so I am at knowthyself.me, and that is spelled KNOWTHYSELF.me.
Love it. This was such a fun talk.
It is. Thank you so much.
I really appreciate you being here. Honored.
Thanks for your wonderful, wonderful work in this world.
You're very welcome, and right back at you.
Because you showed me a lot, actually, with just, what was it, 1.5 hours of your time, and I got so many downloads and so many beautiful messages that I'm still unpacking.
Aw, thank you. I'm honored, honestly. So thank you guys. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you tuning in. Until next time.